There are nights when the world is silent, but your mind is not. There are mornings when you look in the mirror and the face staring back wears a smile stitched together by exhaustion. And there are moments, brief, quiet moments, when you wonder if anyone truly sees through the armor you wear daily. You walk into rooms and play your part. You nod, you smile, you even joke. But inside, there's a storm with no name, restless thoughts spinning like shattered glass in a wind tunnel. You're not breaking down, not visibly, but slowly, invisibly, you're unraveling. Have you ever tried to sleep while your regrets play a highlight reel behind your eyelids? Or stood in the shower, hoping hot water could wash away something colder? You feel haunted, not by ghosts, but by your own mind, relentless, sharp, convincing. And somewhere along the line, without knowing, you gave it the microphone. But today, we're taking it back. They told you the mind reflects the world like a calm lake. What you see is what you feel, and what you feel must be real. But what if I told you that your mind doesn't reflect reality? It refracts it, twists it, like cracked glass, distorting the sunlight into something colder. Think about it. One small doubt can spiral into a full-blown storm. One quiet memory, once harmless, returns with teeth sharper than before. And before you even step into the world, you've already been wounded by a war, fought entirely in your own skull. Have you noticed how your mind doesn't wait for an enemy? It builds one for you, not outside, but within. It replays old fears like reruns, weaponizes regret, sharpens your insecurities until they pierce your peace. Like a forge gone rogue, it smelts every wound into a blade and hands it to your inner voice. And that voice, it doesn't shout. It drips. Like water eroding stone, it speaks in whispers you barely notice. You're too late. You're not enough. They'll see through you. It doesn't attack your body. It rearranges your belief, carves you into doubt, shapes your silence into surrender. Marcus Aurelius once warned us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But what if your mind feels like the strongest enemy you've ever faced? That's the paradox. Your most dangerous opponent is not out there. It's the narrator you've let run unchecked inside. You can look calm, you can act functional, and yet still be bleeding from battles no one sees because the wounds are mental and the battlefield is silent. Imagine living in a house where the alarm never stops ringing. That's your brain on a loop of fear and self-judgment. You're not living, you're reacting. And what's worse, the longer it runs, the more convincing it sounds. But here's something the Stoics understood well. A thought is not a command, it's a suggestion. And not every suggestion deserves obedience. So what now? You forge discipline the way iron becomes steel, not in silence, but in fire. You challenge the voice that doubts you not with arguments, but with action. You don't reflect reality, you build it with sharper thoughts, cleaner choices, stoic fire. Because if your mind can be a cage, it can also be a weapon. And in the right hands, a weapon is how you defend peace. Pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to demand your attention. That heaviness in your chest, It's not weakness. It's the sound of your soul knocking on the walls you've built around it. We often treat pain like a trespasser, something to expel, ignore, numb. But what if pain isn't the enemy? What if it's a messenger you've silenced for too long? You see, pain doesn't shout. It lingers. It leaks into your habits, your posture, your decisions. It wraps itself around your silence and waits for a quiet moment to speak. And when it doesn't ask permission. Have you ever felt your hands tremble over a photo you thought you'd buried? Or heard your own voice crack, describing a future you gave up on? That's not a breakdown. That's your truth, bleeding through the lies you told yourself to survive. We don't heal by hiding. We heal by listening. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Pain isn't the blade, it's the blueprint. You choose if it wounds you or sculpts you. A friend of mine, David, once told me about a time in his life when everything looked perfect from the outside. Great job, happy photos, polite small talk. But every night, he drove to an empty parking lot near his house and just sat in silence. Sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours. He told me he didn't know what he was waiting for, but he hoped just maybe something inside him would finally break open. It wasn't a breakdown that saved him. It was the moment he realized his pain wasn't a punishment. It was truth, buried beneath expectations, image, and noise. David didn't quit his job or disappear. He started small journaling, long walks, getting off autopilot. And one day, he stopped needing that parking lot. Now, he says pain isn't something to run from. It's something to translate. Back then, I didn't understand it, he told me. But now I know pain was trying to teach me how to become myself. You say you want peace, but do your choices agree with you? There's a strange comfort in chaos. We stay in places that hurt us, not because we don't recognize the damage, but because they're familiar. You sit in the same conversations that drain you, return to habits that hollow you out, revisit memories like bruises you refuse to let fade. It's like living in a house that's burning, but you keep rearranging the furniture. Why do we do that? Because we confuse routine with safety. We mistake noise for connection. We treat emotional clutter like sacred keepsakes we can't bear to throw out. Stoicism doesn't tell you to numb your feelings. It teaches you to filter them, to separate what deserves your energy from what only consumes it. And sometimes that means walking away. Not everything that's familiar is safe. Not everyone who stays with you is on your side. Some wounds have names and faces. Some comfort zones are built on barbed wire. And yet we linger. We light candles, listen to podcasts, read healing quotes, while still holding on to the very patterns breaking us. You say you want clarity, but keep feeding your mind the same confusion every day. You meditate in the morning, then scroll through digital wars by lunch. You say you want to be free, but won't drop the chains because they've become decorative. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." But what if the room you're in doesn't let you look inward? Only outward, distracted. Reactive peace isn't something you summon like magic. It's something you earn by pruning. By stepping away from the noise even if the noise has a smile and calls itself home. Leaving doesn't always mean rebellion. Sometimes it's self-respect, and sometimes choosing peace means choosing silence, not as escape, but as declaration. What you tolerate, you endorse, and what you keep repeating becomes your reality. Everyone else seems to be sprinting while you're still tying your shoes. You scroll past milestones, new homes, dream jobs, smiling faces, and filtered light, and wonder why your story feels stuck between chapters. There's no applause for effort, no gold medal for still trying. And quietly, you begin to wonder, am I falling behind? But what if I told you you're not behind? You're underground, like a seed before the bloom. Growth doesn't make noise. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or fanfare. It happens in the dark, where roots dig deep, unseen. What you feel right now, uncertainty, pressure, loneliness, isn't failure. It's the sound of your armor being built from within. You are not late. You're in the forge. A blacksmith doesn't polish cold metal. Steel must meet fire before it becomes a sword. And maybe that's where you are, in the heat, in the pounding, in the reshaping. But tell me, who told you your timeline had to match theirs? The Stoics never chased pace. Marcus Aurelius didn't measure greatness by speed, but by substance. He said, don't waste time debating what a good man should be. Be one. That doesn't happen overnight. It's not supposed to. The modern world worships quick wins, viral fame, 30-day transformations, the illusion of instant mastery. But you're not building for the trend. You're building for the storm. You're not training for the spotlight. You're preparing for the long war, the one that requires consistency when the crowd is gone. Because, let's be honest, how many people have seen the nights you stayed up questioning everything? How many witnessed you stand back up after being shattered again and again? The answer is not many, but that doesn't make it worthless. It makes it sacred. Don't mistake silence for stagnation. The loudest transformations often happen in complete quiet. A tree doesn't make noise while growing, but it will shake the ground when it finally breaks through. You're not forgotten. You're not left behind. You're being forged layer by layer into something that endures. And when the time comes, when the fire has done its work, you won't rise as someone catching up. You'll rise as someone no one saw coming. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need the perfect plan, the right words, or flawless timing. You just need this moment, the one where you stop running from yourself and start standing with yourself. This is the line between surviving and becoming. You've walked through doubt. You've carried memories like anchors. You've faced battles that left no scars on the skin, but tore into the soul. And yet here you are. Maybe your pace is slower. Maybe your voice still shakes, but that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're rebuilding stone by stone, thought by thought. And that's what Stoicism is, not silence for the sake of hiding, but silence that listens, silence that chooses its battles, silence that sharpens its blade without showing it. You are not the sum of your fears. You are the architect of your responses. Every step forward, no matter how unsure, is a crack in the walls of old belief. So, if you felt this message in your chest, don't let it fade. Let it echo. Drop this in the comments and let the world know you've drawn your line in the sand I don't wait for peace. I build it, thought by thought, day by day. And if someone you care about is still stuck in their own storm, send this to them. Not as rescue, but as a reminder that we all carry fire. Some just haven't learned to burn on purpose. If this message resonates with you, don't just watch silently. Like the video to fuel this movement. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next step in your journey. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that their mind is a battlefield and they have the power to win. Comment below with your own commitment. What's one thought you will refuse to let control you today? Let's build a community that rises together, one disciplined mind at a time.